Hello, my friends of Cosmic Agency. My opinion here, I'm going to read this. I prepared this text and I'm going to read it, okay? Here it goes. What I will share is my own words and opinion, but very much in line with what our Taygetan friends have shared in the recent years. It is important that you watch all the videos by Marisva and ATHENA's SWARUU, links in the description box, to hear their perspective directly. Every now and then, disclosure initiatives ignite the UFO communities, bringing hope to seekers of truth of finally receiving some kind of validation from the official circles. Mostly so what they have learned to accept as truth can come out to light and be seriously looked at by all their peers and families. Frankly, it is something we all yearn for. To be finally able to say, "I told you so," and so our passion can finally be understood, and ET reality so important to us, reaching the reality of broader masses. Official government hearings, such as the latest one before the House of Representatives, bring that kind of hope to many. The ET truth being heard, examined, and not simply tossed aside as fantasy. I can honestly say that if I hadn't learned throughout all the years about the hidden hands at play at this UFO truth versus Matrix game, I too might have got excited about this being handled by government as a serious matter. After all, so many people look to the governments and officially announced truths as truths. So if the governments were saying UFOs are real, then all our Matrix friends would finally stop looking at us as crazies, right? Isn't that in itself a great satisfaction? The first problem lies precisely here. People en masse, generally speaking of course, continue to look to governments for answers to what is real and what is not. If it's not on TV or officially declared, it is then fiction or conspiracy theory. Only what comes through the official channels can be considered real. John Smith looking into the UFOs? That's rubbish and waste of time. Governments looking into the UFOs? There must be something there. What is worse? The appeal of the official channels as truth bearers is such that the so-called awakened community, once openly warning against what comes out through official means, suddenly also becomes enthralled by what the governments are doing, this time with UFO, UAPs hearings, forgetting everything they used to believe in themselves, and that is, do not trust official media or governments, especially on crucial to humanity matters such as extraterrestrials. Okay, let's look at it by pieces. One might say, but these are not government disclosures we have at this point, but the number of witness testimonies, some coming from former government officials, others not. People who truly believe in ending the truth embargo on the ET subject and demanding greater governmental transparency. Isn't that a noble cause? It's good that someone is doing something, right? Indeed, I don't doubt that some of the whistleblowers may authentically want to contribute, firmly believing that the governments hold the key to ending the secrecy, key to finally revealing the truth. Many of them could be innocently working to further this goal. We cannot play all-knowing agents of truth and say that all of them are inserts of the three-letter agencies. I do believe that some of them do earnestly wish to share what they know. There are good people out there after all, or so I want to believe. The problem, however, is following. Knowing who handles the truth from above, knowing how deep the rabbit hole goes, all the way to non-human deep cabal and galactic federation levels. Knowing true gatekeepers of the ET secrecy on Earth, I can only feel that the small bunch of witnesses, even if sincere, are, unfortunately, nothing else but naive, or bluntly put, useful idiots, as Mari and Athena said, managed skillfully and without even knowing they are being played in the dark game of Earth game. When listening to the hearings online, one of the questions posed many times at the witnesses was, why do you think there is the ongoing suppression of UAP information by government departments? The answer given was, they don't know what the UAPs are. And if they don't know, they prefer to keep the subject under covers, whether under the excuse of not revealing weaknesses to the enemies, for national security, etc. They don't know what they are, and hence it must remain secret. This is what the witnesses collectively seem to believe to be one of the reasons to maintain the secrecy. If they truly believe this is the genuine reason for secrecy, here is why it can be understood why the term useful idiots is totally deserved, without wanting to disrespect any truthful whistleblowers out there. Let me put it this way. The lower-ranking government officials may indeed not know, but the deepest hands behind the secrecy of UFOs not only know what they are, not only do they cooperate with them, but from the highest level, they are the non-human UFO operating groups themselves. It is them that, from the highest command ranks, order the secrecy, maintaining the system on Earth as it is, isolated, contained, veiled, immersed in lies and artificially placed belief systems. It is them who are the ultimate gatekeepers of the ET secrecy on Earth, the governing ETs themselves. And we all know who they are. Deepest core of the Galactic Federation, stationed in Saturn and perhaps beyond. They set in place all kinds of mechanisms, layers and structures to hide the truth from coming out. It is them behind and above the secret societies, behind the deep state cabal, behind the hidden layers of world governments. It is them who order and maintain the truth embargo on UAPs and ET reality. Going to one of their power mechanism tools, and a low-level one on top of it, the Congress, being only a public mask, pretend game of democracy, to ask for transparency is like going to the Disneyland to request a statement that Mickey Mouse does not exist. All the honest, truth-seeking witnesses are totally misplacing their trust when choosing the Congress demanding to be heard. The chairman and low-level Congress people may even listen, but ultimately, the power does not lie in their hands, especially not about matters that relate to the entire rewriting of humanity's position in the cosmos. The invisible controllers will never allow any real, relevant information reaching the public through those institutions, or only what they view necessary to their plans. Hence, again, the term useful idiots when referring to whistleblowers who might be sincere, if there are any. And why useful, you might ask? Here we get to the next point. The powers that control the governments, the non-human levels themselves, as we have learned through countless videos in our channels, both Mari's and mine, are not interested in revealing the full truth to the public. I am referring to the absolute non-terrestrial leaders behind the top of the Galactic Federation. We have learned from our Taygetan friends that what they want is to maintain the Earth realm as it is, the world for souls to incarnate in and have their closed-off experience, not to mention other sinister reasons for keeping Earth at its present state, or worse. With the official revelations of greater ET reality, they lose this place for what it is. They lose their valued matrix. As Marisva said, knowledge and full awareness about the existence of extraterrestrials and all they bring with them end up being a complete game changer for both societies at large and for the individual. And to the point where the whole web of ideas that shape and form the matrix on Earth ends up collapsing, because all the lies and all the trickery that keeps the 3D matrix of Earth working simply dissipates when confronted with the facts. This is where useful idiots come into picture. Knowing how much the ET reality is becoming more and more popular among the population, how many humans are awakening to cosmic matters, how many starseeds are sharing their memories of living off-planet, and how many mainstream citizens are beginning to ask questions, the controllers know that at some point it is no longer possible to keep the lid on this matter. It will be much more useful to grab all those seekers and guide them in the direction they, the controllers, want them to look. After all, they have done so with so many things in the past and continue doing so. Let's take religions. Since time immemorial, people have sensed a greater spiritual reality beyond mere physical existence. They always felt the pull towards the mystical. The controllers then schemed a system of elaborate religions, a reality parallel to their own system of beliefs and true spirituality, a corral for their sheep, where all those spiritually aware people could gather and feel fulfilled, but within the range of the imposed religious parameters, never giving anything fully true to the masses, always luring them into the controlled areas. I strongly believe they are doing the same, or might be doing, with all those disclosures and all those official hearings. They know the truth about the ETs is leaking to the public. They must then leak it themselves, allowing these types of events, but in a way that interests them and never the public. They are not ready to give up the control. They want control in every single area of human affairs, especially the ones concerning ETs. Some may feel that greater governmental transparency about the UFOs and laws put in place that could protect the whistleblowers, for example, cannot be anything but good and for the benefit of the humanity. After all, it's the lies that we are all fed up with. Why would desclassification be suddenly bad? Simple. Just like with the example of how they created religions, spiritual avenues for seekers to feel fulfilled, seemingly innocent but full of distortion and lies, they can and probably want to create a whole new narrative lane, full of interpretations, distorted understandings, and sheer lies, in order to turn the awakening population towards the ET reality, but according to how they want that reality to be perceived by the people. It is never ever going to be the full truth, not even close. They might inspire certain mental opening about the UFOs and have people ask greater questions, and that is undeniably good, but they will also make sure they will be the ones providing answers. And it is there where I perceive danger. No real truth ever comes out of governments, especially when we know who is in charge. Why would now be any different? And this is where we get to the point of all the not-so-sincere informants coming out at these types of hearings. Among all the possibly well-meaning witnesses, many others could be and are placed there on purpose, steering the disclosure in the direction they wanted to take, with this and not that information being placed for the consideration of the Congress and the public. The UFO and the New Age movement is riddled with three-letter agencies disinformants. What makes you think the disclosure movement isn't? And what if all this disclosure production for the masses is only part of the show in order to prepare the public's mind towards one of their many games, the false alien invasion? They might need that agenda at some point in the future in order to execute another one of their psyops. And for that, they need the public to think there is a greater intelligence out there, unknown and possibly dangerous, with a technology that surpasses ours, from which we need immediate protection. After all, the government officials disclosed so, right? Or they might steer the disclosure, and with it, the false alien invasion contact, into all benevolent galactic organization, appearing out of nowhere, wanting to impose new rules and sets of laws. Perhaps that's what all their positive Federation propaganda is aiming at. For fuller understanding about the Galactic Federation's role, please see the recent video on the subject, link in the description box. And what if the governments showing interest in UFOs and the shaping of public perception of the ETs that follows it is only an elaborate scheme to monopolize the field, taking it away from awakened communities and genuine contactees, such as ourselves and others, who have been making the public aware of the ET reality for years? After all, it could be a desperate move on their part to steer the attention of masses in their direction, in what they have to say on the matter, in order not to let the sheep get away. And apparently, not only the sheep, as the so-called awakened people are also turning towards the official disclosures for hope. In the end, the humanity managers at the deep end of the control chain know what they are doing, and they are not leaving anything to chance or in the hands of lesser power structures. They are letting it all play out, almost as a theater show, and I am sure they have a good reason for that. Nothing good, real, or substantially truthful ever comes out of that, and I don't think this will be the exception. They are scheming something. And let me finish saying that, gloomy as it may seem, remember that the dark controllers are not the only ones present at the Earth's matrix game. The chess is being played, but by many factions and on many levels. There is an ongoing war for human minds and perception, but the positive side is also here and present as ever. I personally will not sit still, letting the human comprehension of cosmic matters in the hands of governments and official disclosures. I will contribute, from my part, to share what I have been learning. The awakening population might be indeed and will be asking questions, but governments and whoever pulls the strings from behind will not be the only ones providing answers. I am going to take advantage of new UFO seekers coming in, and for that reason, I am going to open a new YouTube channel directed at them precisely, but not only, soon. Stay tuned, preparations are underway. This is my current take on the matter, although I do reserve the right to mold my opinion in different directions each time new data arrives. Connecting all the dots, or even seeing them all, may not always be possible. And in the end, you must do the job yourself too. Please feel free to form your own opinion about any of these topics. my final advice: do not get carried away with enthusiasm. Observe all, but with caution. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.